What's going on, Bulls Nation? Welcome into the CHGO Bulls Podcast, coming to you live from our CHGO headquarters here in West Loop, downtown Chicago. I'm Peck, Big Dave, Bow, BWL Sports, Will the Go Gottlieb, Will_Gottlieb, our pal producer on the controls, Joey Spathis.
Hey, Joey's here.
He is at Joey Spathis.
Good to see you, Joey.
Happy official first Monday of the offseason.
Yes.
We made it, you guys.
We made it. Hey.
It's a beautiful thing.
How do you feel? You're the most
feel
excited.
great.
Yeah.
We got NBA playoff action to watch.
Score.
No Bulls stress right now. We'll worry about the draft lottery in a month. We'll worry about the draft after that.
Yes.
We'll worry about what the hell AK is going to do.
Yeah.
Finally admitting that there are some problems that need fixing.
Yeah.
But has backed himself into a pretty dicey corner.
This is true.
When will you start? I am worrying about all of that later.
I'm about to say when. Do you have a time, a date? Is it the draft or?
Honestly, I'm not even going to worry myself about the draft lottery. Like, the Bulls have, what, a 9% chance at a top 4 pick?
Yes,
jumping up?
and a 2% chance at the first.
Probably won't happen. If it does, great. I'm kind of underwhelmed by this draft class anyway.
Okay.
I'm just going to, peace of mind, man.
Okay, I like that. So we'll leave the worrying to the one who worries all the time, and that is Will the Go Gottlieb, man.
Oh, I'll be thinking about it.
Oh, yeah.
I'll be thinking about it.
He was tweeting about DeMar contract money and Lonzo and all that stuff yesterday. The day after AK's season-ending press conference, Will was already back on the worry train.
Keeping you on your toes, ladies and gentlemen.
I wouldn't say worry train so much as the trying to be a detective. I'm trying to figure this thing out.
I appreciate that.
Trying to figure this thing out.
Somebody has to be paying attention at all times.
I just immediately pictured him with a magnifying glass right quick, just
looking at the cap sheets.
Yeah, all that, man. Yeah.
Also, this
late
week,
night.
like,
hey, Julia.
End of season press conference done. The Bears are making the number 1 overall pick in the NFL draft on Thursday. That is what this week is about.
Very excited about that.
So stoked.
Very excited. I can't wait to see it just so I can exhale.
Big old CHGO Bears party happening Friday night and also Thursday night. Joe's on Weed Street.
Thursday night sold out. Friday night still available. Guys,
I think
come on,
Friday's now also getting pretty close to sold out. Only a few tickets left.
All right,
go to the events page, allchgo.com, and grab your ticket if you want to come hang out.
Hurry up, man. Don't miss Gary Fensick on Friday. He'll be there.
Indeedy. On top of the fun NBA playoff entertainment that we get for weeks to come, we got, I think three game twos on deck tonight. We also, it's award season. Woo. And during the NBA on TNT's pregame coverage last night, we got the official finalists for all of the 23-24 NBA season individual awards. Condolences to Caruso, who did not make finalists for Defensive Player of the Year. I think nobody really expected that. It's almost always a big man. Shout out to Wemby for making that top 3 finalist. Maybe it's him. Maybe it's going to be Rudy. Maybe it'll be Bam. But we do have to talk about the fact that 2 Bulls players did earn finalist representation in individual awards. There is DeMar DeRozan for Clutch Player of the Year. Shout out to him. And Coby White earning a finalist nod for the Most Improved Player of the Year award. So we thought today we could just kind of review each of their respective resumes for their categories and compare them to the other people who made those finalist selections. And then at the back end of today's show, we'll make our picks for who's winning these first-round playoff series in the East and West for funsies. God, NBA playoffs. I'm so happy.
Yeah, that's so fun.
Have you guys enjoyed the first few handfuls of games?
Absolutely.
The quadruple headers over the weekend?
That Thunder game last night was so freaking good.
Speaking of Clutch Player of the Year, that and one Shai Gilgeous-Alexander had.
After a 5-minute scoring drought.
Damn.
That was.
Yeah, he's special, man.
Damn.
Special guys. Special time for the special players. That's what the playoffs are for.
This is true.
And we love it.
But so let's start with Coby, a Most Improved Player award, because I think that was maybe the one that Bulls fans were most excited about all season long, while also still respecting the greatness in the clutch that is DeMar DeRozan in the season he had. But so if you look at what Coby did this season compared to last and lining up his numbers, he saw a nearly 10-point-per-game jump from last season to this season. Shooting splits were pretty similar. He shot 44 overall, 37 from 3, and 87 from the free throw line last season. He increased his overall field goal percentage just a little bit to 45% this year, 37% still from the free throw line, or from the three-point line, so he didn't quite continue that hot streak to have his first career 40% three-point shooting season. And still very respectable 84% from the free throw line. Upped his rebounds by a rebound and a half from last season. Upped his assists per game from 2.8 last season to 5.1 this season. And then, of course, also talking about him being among the league leader in minutes played all season long. Was right there with DeMar until his short absence from the hip injury near the end of the season. But the usage going up for Coby, he went from 8 field goal attempts per game last season to over 15 field goal attempts this season. And that included a 3-point attempt per game jump from 4.6 last year to 7 this year. So whereas Coby's shooting splits kind of pretty much hovered around where they were last year, I think you have to appreciate and respect the fact that efficiency stayed the same on a much higher volume.
Yeah, and that's the key of it. Listen, if I'm just looking at the raw numbers of all this, Coby White is the winner by what the award is supposed to be about. And if I'm just looking straight numbers, on that, like what he did and how he improved and made it consistent all year long is the brand new thing we've seen of Coby White. We've seen Coby have months like these before, right? We've seen him go out, ball out, rookie season, Matt. We remember that when he was have like back-to-back games of 30 points.
Yeah,
we've seen
stupid
him
COVID.
Out. Yeah, and shut it all down. That was our final show, but but we've seen him be that. But we just haven't seen it be consistent, and that's what the most awesome thing about all of this is the consistency that came with that, the ball handling that came with that, and the improvement, just not like numbers wise, just look at his game. Like these other players, I think their games are already kind of like that. They didn't have to improve on the handles. They didn't have to improve on being better guys who are point guards, being better at their position, I should say. Also Sengun. Sengun was already, that man, that's Will's guy. You know what I mean? He was already that guy. Coby was not that guy until this season, and he broke clean out. And it's a lot of games the Bulls would not have been in and would not have won if it was not for Alec Jacoby White and what he did for the Bulls this season, man. I think just by the letter of what the law of what the actual rule is for most improved player, I think it's Coby White easily.
Yeah, I agree. That would probably be my vote. I think, like, over the course of the second half of the season, I feel like Bulls fans, with the way Coby played after he came back from that hip injury, he kind of tapered off a little bit. Sure. I think Bulls fans, people who are covering the team, kind of saw that as stagnation and felt like he may not have, unless he really continued to move forward and make his numbers look even bigger and better, that it was going to be hard for him to win. But while that was happening, I think there was like sort of a national narrative around him that he was actually still playing at that level. He was still improving. And obviously the Bulls playing at a higher level as a group, as a team, from basically the game 20 on, like, I think he's still getting a lot of that attention. So I wouldn't be surprised if he won. I think second probably makes more sense. But yeah. I'm with you, Dave. Like, when you look at what this award is supposed to be about, to me, it's not like a guy who was like already really good got really, really good. Right. It's like Coby was out of the rotation for a lot of last year. He was coming off the bench. He had some moments down the stretch, but like he was not an important piece of the roster to the point where it was like kind of surprising that we saw the Bulls even re-sign him. And then he goes from that into, a 20-point per game guy. You mentioned the efficiency, Matt. Like, he went from I'm looking at Maxey's stats, 17.9 usage to 22.7.
Yeah.
So that's and to have the same efficiency while your role and responsibilities grow that much, I think, Sengun obviously took a huge leap too in the way that they played through him. It's kind of a similar leap in that way. And it's not to say that Coby's not a flawed player. I think that's obviously not the case, but just when you look at what his role was last year to what it turned into this season, it's hard to see a player matching that in terms of the growth of responsibility and the way that he handled it.
Yeah.
Montana Shai in the comments pointing out that Kenny Smith and Sir Charles Barkley both had Coby as their winner had they had a ballot, which I do not believe they do. And Julia pointing out that Ernie Johnson, meanwhile, had Tyrese Maxey at the top of his list. Shout out to our friend Jim, who said, Coby, most improved player, speaking into existence. I do think that Coby will end up finishing second behind Tyrese. And it's interesting, what you point out, Will, as far as like how people, and especially NBA media people who do have a ballot for these season-long awards, define which kind of criteria and which groups of players should be the ones considered for an award like Most Improved, and talking about Kobe's increase in usage. And look, the fact that Tyrese Maxey was kind of already a quasi-star last season.
Yes.
And then took his game a step further. This season was his first actual All-Star selection, if I'm not mistaken. But you're talking in Maxey about a guy who was taking 15 shots a game last year, scoring 20 points a game last year, to now this season he took over 20 shots a game, and he scored nearly 26 points per game.
Correct.
And he, the thing about Maxey is he obviously stepped into James Harden's role from last year. He became he became the second option, the primary ball handler, the guy who was kind of organizing the offense around Embiid. So
and coupling that with an extended absence for Embiid, and then his usage growing even higher.
Yeah.
But that's actually where I was going to go is I think part of the reason why there was a little bit less love for Maxey is because the team struggled so much when Embiid went out. And, you do – I think Maxey's a better player than Kobe. Yeah. Obviously, the numbers are much better, and I think all things considered, their roles are kind of similar at this point. They're the second guy on offense. They're the one that's – handling the ball, but playing off ball a lot too, beside a bigger star. And Maxey obviously put up just much bigger numbers. Not a knock on Kobe, but I feel like the level of growth, it's harder to go from a fringe star to a superstar. But I don't think Maxey made that. I think he went from fringe star to
star
to low end all-star.
Yeah, but so I was listening to one of last week's Low Posts with Zach Lowe and Thorpe, and I think they were talking about the difference between how voters view an award like Most Valuable Player compared to an award like Most Improved Player, and that Most Improved Player is just more so about what did this player do last season and what did they do this season individual stats-wise. It's an individual award. I think more people who have ballots tend to put more weight in team success,
correct,
even when you're talking about an individual award like Most Valuable Player.
Yes.
How good is this good player and what did it do as far as translating to team wins? So whereas Maxey maybe did not lead the Sixers to as many wins trying to do it independently without an injured Embiid, that might not hurt his case for winning an award like this.
No, it won't at all. The winning always plays into it in any award in the NBA. Winning is going to play into it some kind of way. Sixth man of the year, obviously those kind of defensive player of the year, those things kind of play in, unless you're just astronomical, like Victor Wembanyama or something like that. But in this case, I immediately, when I was having this discussion, a friend of mine brought up Lowry Markkanen. It was like, well, how does Lowry win it? Lowry didn't win. I was like, well, you have to take into account what that team was and what he was supposed to be coming into that season. Nobody was expecting anything like that from him. And ended up being an all-star starter. You know what I mean? From nobody expecting him to do nothing to a team that was honestly going to go to the play-in, and Danny Ainge said, y'all need to chill out. You know what I'm saying? And relax a little bit.
I think that's a great point. The expectation was Maxey was going to take a step forward because he had a bigger role.
Correct.
The expectation for Kobe was,
Can you
is
play?
he even going to start?
Yeah.
We were talking about Javon Carter at the start of the year, and then all of a sudden this guy's a 20-point per game guy. So.
Right. A team full of guards, you know what I mean, that had no real you didn't have any vision of who was going to be the starting guard on that team. You had no real vision. It was an open competition. Billy talked about it all offseason, about that. So him coming in and then starting basically from late November on. So he didn't even come in on fire, you know what I'm saying? Because the expectations for him doing that weren't really there, weren't really clear. But obviously, like I told it all the time, he really doesn't do that. Yeah. He starts off slow. It's kind of what his thing is. I just didn't expect it to continue the entire season, but Kobe did. He expected it to continue. He needed, for me, guys, he needed to have that game he had in the play-in during the season. I thought he needed to have one of those games during the season because Maxey had one of those games for sure. He had a 50-point game.
Yeah, a couple.
You know what I'm saying? Right, exactly. So I think he had to have one of those games, and that's why I think it boded well for him to have that in the play-in on national TV for everybody to kind of see and put it on display. But I wonder if it was too little, too late, if guys had already made up their mind on what Maxey is and who he was.
The ballots were due before the play-in. So
right, but their minds might have changed, you know what I'm saying? But I just want to know, he needed to have it during that season. That's all I know he needed to have.
Yeah,
but
no, I agree with that.
I still think he should win this award, but I agree with Matt. I still think he's going to be in second. I think it'll be close, but I think he'll come up in second because they're going to look at that record and see the Bulls, even though he improved, you know what I'm saying, were a game worse. You know what I'm saying? That's what they're going to see, and did the same thing that they did last year. And in a game that could have took him to the playoffs, he didn't play well in that. But he still will finish second. I think he should still win it just by the letter of what the law is of this award. But Coby White had an incredible season, and this is an incredible building block, something that he can absolutely build on going into next season, man, because he was truly special, from the handles that he improved on to the vision to the leadership that he improved on. All of those things were not expected from him, including the scoring, the rebounding, the assist, and all that stuff. The fact he's shown that he can do that and he improved on all of that just makes you excited going into next season, and hopefully we could be talking about an all-star then.
The other thing that I want to point out with Maxey and Sengun is this was Maxey's 4th year. I believe this was Sengun's 3rd year. You're supposed to improve in your from your first to second and your second to third year, and that's kind of like when guys typically are who they are. And I think part of the reason why Lauri Markkanen won it last year was because he had a 10-point per game increase from his 5th year to his 6th year.
Yes.
Right.
And Coby doing this in his 5th year, I think, adds to the level of impressiveness for
because it's more
accomplishing what he was able
unexpected
to
for a player to make those
just-
jumps.
in year
It's so
5.
rare to be able to make that kind of leap in year 5. And obviously his role changed, but like you have to credit him for expanding his role and for taking advantage and for capitalizing on it.
Yeah.
BOUX in the comments box. Let us know how you pronounce your YouTube name. Pointing out that Maxey, as far as shooting metrics go, actually took a dip with his increased volume this season from last season.
Absolutely did.
True shooting, effective field goal percentage. His overall field goal percentage dropped from 48 to 45. His three-point percentage dropped from a very impressive 43 last year to 37. He did increase his three-point attempts this season from 6.2 to 8.1, so still hovering close to 40 on 8 threes a game is impressive, but, I mean, his three-point percentage dropped by 6 points.
Efficiency field goal percentage fell, 2-point percentage fell. Like, those things fell for him, even though his role increased.
Right.
But he was still awesome.
And again, like Maxey's role did increase quite a lot. I think especially when Embiid was out, he was asked to do even more, which made his numbers look even bigger.
Sure.
But Maxey last year had a 24 usage rate. This year jumped up to 28. But that 24 number from last year is still higher than what Coby's was this year. So what he was asked to do, the amount of production that he puts up, I think, is more in line with what should have been expected of him. Whereas Coby, I feel like he just jumped above expectations so much.
Yeah.
And that to me is what this award is about. And I think that has changed over the years. Like obviously Ja Morant won it 2 years ago where he went from like an all-star player to an MVP caliber player. And I think that kind of reframed for a lot of people what this award looks like. But you also had the Giannis jump. You had the Jimmy Butler jump where these guys were just like fine role players, and then all of a sudden they became like A1 stars on their team.
Yeah.
And Coby did not do that. He is not an A1 star on this Bulls team. This team was still DeMar's team. But I just feel like the gap between what Coby was last year and this year is probably a larger gap than what Maxey was last year to this year. And probably not Sengun, but again, I don't value a jump the way that Sengun had it because it was year 2 to year 3. And to me, that's like when those jumps happen.
Yeah, correct.
Let's take our first break there. We'll come back and dive into DeMar and the Clutch Player of the Year finalists and their resumes. Shout out Books. It's pronounced Books.
Books. I like that. Shout out.
Go read a book.
Books. Read a book. Put one in your face.
While we are sharing these words from our sponsors, you know what to do, Bulls Nation. If you're hanging out with us on YouTube or catching the replay on YouTube, hit that like button right there on your screen. Helps us out a lot. We appreciate it. Make sure, if you aren't already, you also subscribe to the CHGO Sports YouTube channel. Officially 54,000 subscribers and climbing. Shout out to each and every one of you.
Sexy.
If you are looking for a new car, Bulls fans, we got good news for you.
What's that?
Because our partners at Ray Chevy have incredible deals for you.
Ooh.
You just got to go check them out on their website or go check them out on Route 12 and Fox Lake. They are sharing their best offers of the year. Make your way to Ray Chevrolet on Route 12 and Fox Lake to join in on all the wonderful savings. As one of the top-selling Chevy dealers in the Midwest, you'll always be able to shop one of Chicagoland's largest Chevy inventories. Plus, you can find that perfect tailgating vehicle for Caleb Williams' rookie season.
Woo, he's coming.
For a limited time, they're offering 0% financing. That's right, 0% for 72 months on their new Chevy Silverados with over 100 Silverados available. And to top it all off, they're pricing over 125 vehicles under $20,000. Seriously, guys, can pricing get any more affordable?
I don't think so.
Here's the best news. Here's the cherry on top. Maybe you're just looking for an oil change. You can get a free one when you go check out those Silverados at Ray Chevy.
What?
Just by mentioning CHGO Bulls.
That's it?
free oil change. Wow. All you need to do is mention CHGO Bulls when scheduling your oil change. Start off the new year right and schedule it by April 30th. Visit Ray Chevrolet in Fox Lake or raychevrolet.com. They've been serving the community since 1963.
I like it. When you get that car from Ray Chevy, make sure you drive right down the street to your local store and get you some Coors Light because you need to chill.
Oh, yeah.
After getting that kind of purchase, you need to chill on out and just go ahead and relax. And the way you can do that is that cold lagered, cold filtered Mountain Blue refreshment. And that is Coors Light. Because whether it's your team stressing you out or it's just life in general, things can feel just a little chaotic. And that's why Coors Light helps you find moments to chill all year long. There you go. When the mountains turn blue, it's as cold as the Rockies. Coors Light is cold lagered, cold filtered, and cold packaged for a smoother finish. Yeah. Quiet storm. When it's time to chill, open the Coors Light. It's mountain cold refreshment, crisp and refreshing as the Colorado Rockies. And when it's that time to chill, it's what my man Joey grabs. He reaches for it. It's what Kyle wants to do. He wants that cold lager, cold filtered stuff. That's how it goes, y'all. And you get it delivered straight to your door via Instacart. How do you do that? Go to CHGO basketball. That's CHGO basketball. You don't even have to move off your couch. Just pick up your phone, type it in. It'll be at your door. Coors Light. Find your chill. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
You really know how to sell me things, Dave.
Hey, Matt, that's what I do.
The you don't need to get off your couch part.
It's the best.
I mean, sure, you can go to your friendly neighborhood grocery store or liquor store, but you tell me I can sit on my couch and keep sitting there, watching these NBA playoffs,
looking immaculate with the Burks,
and get some fresh cases of Coors Light without moving?
Without moving one thing. Only thing you do is this.
That's the American dream.
I mean it is.
You're impressed with Dave for his ability to sell you beer.
Yes. With the specific
blind monkey could
specificities
sell
of
you
the sales
beer.
pitch of you can keep your keister on the couch.
Ooh, let's see if can a blind monkey sell you beer, Matt?
Depends what kind of beer it is. Is it cold?
How does the blind monkey communicate with me?
He just holds out the beer. He holds out the beer, and he holds out one of his paws for the money. You hand it. Boom.
So I'm paying him cash.
Yeah, cash.
Okay.
He doesn't.
Okay.
Yeah, he doesn't have a card with
He doesn't have Square.
Okay.
Squarespace, right? Is that what it's called? The little credit card thing?
Yes.
That small businesses use?
Just a swipe right there.
Right, yeah.
Just ninja swipe.
It would be inconvenient because then I would have to go off my couch to find an ATM because who carries cash regularly anymore?
Sorry, blind monkey. You lost him right there.
You lost me.
Nope. Stay right on the couch. Yeah, that's why humans are better. More involved.
Unless the monkey was smart enough to plug in the Instacart order for me.
Yeah.
And if he's smart enough to do that, then he could take my credit card information on his phone.
Oh, man, and he can live with you. You move him in if he could do that.
I'm not a...
Dang, the monkey can't move in if he's doing stuff for you, literally? He's cleaning your
house. I don't want a
house?
monkey just flinging feces around my living room while I'm trying to peacefully watch some NBA playoff basketball. You want a monkey living with you?
If he's ordering my stuff and if he's cleaning my house, then yeah, I might have a place for him to stay.
Okay.
That's only fair. You know what I mean? What's his payment? Bananas? Like come on. Like that's only fair.
It's just I feel like that's one of those pets that would be like really hard. It's like some animals should not be pets.
That's true. Some should not be pets. Do you want to get a pet?
I can't keep a plant alive, man.
Well, I just think you have a fish. I don't know why. I think you have some fish.
I think we had a fish when I was like pretty young.
Okay. Okay. That's
You're reading that one wrong, Dave.
All right. Well, you had one though.
I did have one.
All right.
we one of the prizes at this little like thing called a fun fair we had in elementary school every year for these silly like little carnival games that we would play in various classrooms were like goldfish. You could, like live goldfish that if you like threw a ping pong ball in a mason jar, you could win the goldfish that was swimming in that mason jar.
Okay.
And they always lived way too long for my mother's happiness. We would have these, fish bowls on the kitchen counter.
Oh, wow.
Just tap in some fish food. But I insisted. One year I won 3 goldfish, and I brought all 3 of them home.
Flex.
And they lived for way too many years that a goldfish should live. And their names were Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and Flounder.
Hey, wait a minute. Wait. What happened with that third one?
They didn't have Rodman yet.
Okay.
But they also had lost Horace.
All right.
It was in that in between.
Oh, okay. All right.
So I was like, what am I going to name my goldfish? Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and like Pete Myers? Like, no, sorry, right. Pete.
All right, that's fair. That's fair. That's very fair.
I think maybe also my sister advocated for at least one of them to have like a real fish name. She was like, what about Flounder from Little Mermaid? I was like, fine.
All right, that works. Who was your favorite?
MJ. Of course.
Yeah.
Shout out to him. Yeah. Living life on that NASCAR track.
Oh, man, wasn't that cool to see?
Dude.
Honestly, that was really cool to see, man. He was so happy.
Big belly laugh.
Yeah, man. Champion Mike is always my favorite
dude
Mike.
Gives 0 Fs.
Champion Mike, man. Winning looks good on the man. That's just what it is, man. Winning looks good on him, baby.
It does. And then, what's up, Hayes? To answer your question, buddy, 1 pair of Birks. You don't need more than that. One at a time.
How quickly do you go through a pair of Birks? Which has been asked
we're
before.
talking about this the other day.
Yeah, we did have this discussion.
You said it.
Every 2 years now, I think. I get a new pair. This is going to be summer 2.
Used to be longer, but now you really just grind them out.
Man, it's impressive, bro. Like, look at him. Like, he really puts these things through the ringer.
He wears them.
Yeah, man. He wears them.
He really wears
them.
them.
He's not playing.
As you told someone in our comments a couple weeks ago, Joe, if it is above 50 degrees, Birks are out.
Birks out, man.
Just like the Gams are out.
Bam.
All right, guys. Let's talk Clutch Player of the Year. Also learned during TNT's coverage last night that DeMar DeRozan was named a finalist alongside Steph Curry and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who we mentioned had himself a hell of a clutch finish to that OKC win in Game 1 over the Pelicans. Comparing their clutch stats, I looked up their totals from this season. Okay. So stats that they compiled in the final 5 minutes of games where the margin was 5 points or fewer.
Okay.
DeMar and Steph actually both finished with 109 points.
That's a typo there. It's
not negative 109, positive 109. DeMar finished just shy of 50% shooting from the field on 77 attempts in his clutch minutes, 88% on 34 clutch time free throws, and finished as a plus 81 in 114 clutch minutes. And that's the hilarious part when you compare DeMar's clutch time stats to Steph's and Shai's and realize just how many clutch games the Bulls played this season.
Yeah.
Because
seriously,
DeMar played 114 clutch minutes. Steph played 79. Shai played 62. I think it's because maybe the Thunder had just a few more blowout wins than the Bulls did this season.
A little bit.
So solid body of work there from DeMar in the clutch. And we know how many wins the Bulls as a team got in those clutch game scenarios this season, kind of flipping the script again from last season when they lost a lot of clutch games this season. What was their final clutch record, Will?
27-17.
Wow.
Thank you, DeMar.
Wow.
Steph Curry, meanwhile, shot a blistering 54.3% from the field in his clutch minutes on 70 attempts. He shot, of course, a perfect 100% in his clutch free throws.
That's nuts.
But here's the weird thing. Plus minus for Steph in his clutch minutes? 0. Net? 0.
Wow.
Feel like that should maybe take a bit of a hit on his case for this award.
Yeah. A little bit.
And then Shai, meanwhile, in significantly fewer clutch minutes because the Thunder are good, finished with 57 points on 47.5% shooting from the field, 87.5% from the free throw line. I think this one is kind of more of a toss-up, whereas I'm pretty sure that Maxey's going to win Most Improved. Maybe, I don't know. How do you guys see this one going?
Ooh, well,
also, like, it's a regular season award. What Steph did, or what Shai did in their Game 1 playoff win does not count. It's just like another fresh reminder of how freaking clutch that guy is.
Okay, this is kind of how I feel about it. I think DeMar should win, but I'm not being biased when I say that. I'm not. I think DeMar, the NBA can play this two ways. They could give DeMar this award for the award he should have won before they created the award. You remember the season when he first got here, how he just dominated all of that clutch stuff, and then they created the award the next year? I think they still owe him for that.
They owe DeMar from the 21-22 season.
It's like Al Pacino winning that Oscar over Denzel Washington from when he did Malcolm
X.
They
would have named it the DeMar DeRozan Award if it existed in its inaugural year that season.
Straight up, dog. It's like how they do that all the time in Hollywood when they give you honorary Oscars for something you shouldn't have won, like Martin Scorsese winning for The Departed. Not his Goodfellas is better. You know, what I mean? He made way better films than The Departed, but it's like,
or like when Leo finally won.
Yes,
like he's had better acting roles.
Way better, but they're like, he beat up a bear.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, give it to him there. So I think he might get it there. But I also think SGA has a real shot because he's not going to win MVP. So they might want to give him something for finishing first in the West and being just absolutely amazing all season long. So he might get second in MVP. You know, he might do those kind of things. But I think that he might get this so they let him walk away with something. Some
hardware for what the league and its fans recognize as one of the prominent members of the next class of superstar NBA players.
Correct. And again,
which, like, no offense, DeMar's is, it's old man DeMar.
But again, because
they don't need to appease him with a trophy.
Yeah, and they're the first. They're number one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They were the best team in the toughest conference, and nobody expected it. You know, for them to be there. So, and him being the leader of it, they might just say, you know what, let's show him some love, and get him this award for the young fella. I don't think Steph is in the running, honestly. I don't think he's in the running at all for the numbers and for the losing. DeMar can be in it for the numbers, you know what I mean? But I think SGA just might end up walking away with that one.
I think it's going to be DeMar. I think, honestly,
talk to me, Will.
I'm not even sure it's that close. Like, so much of clutch play to me is like, how did you help your team win in late close games? And like, when you think about team success with this, the Bulls were second in the league in clutch net rating, plus 23.5. That is absurd. They won the most clutch games of any team in the league. They had a 120 clutch offensive rating, which is fifth in the league, and the number one defensive rating in the clutch.
Which is wild, considering how much their defense plummeted this season.
Seriously.
And like, when you look at like NBA.com, you're able to like filter it even more. So like, clutch is defined as games that are within 5 points in the final 5 minutes.
That was our wheelhouse.
But you can look at it as like games within 3 points in the final 3 minutes, or games within 1 point in the final 30 seconds. And like, when you filter it down to all of those, it's like DeMar has put up the biggest numbers of anybody. He's doing it efficiently. Like, I'm looking right now, games within 3 points or less in the last minute. DeMar 59 points, Steph 47. DeMar 53.6 field goal percentage, Steph 51. Obviously, Steph's going to have the edge in 3-point percentage, but the Bulls went 17-11 and the Warriors went 11-15. So not only is DeMar performing at an insane individual level, he's helping his team win, and he's helping the Bulls win. That's the only way the Bulls won. Yeah. Like, that was how they won games this year.
Yes.
So I feel like the impact that he had on winning, the impact that he had in like box score production, efficiency, team success, like both at a box score level and at an advanced statistic level, I don't even really think it's that close.
Yeah. And you said the Bulls' clutch record was 27-17.
Yeah.
That means they had 27 wins that they got in clutch games and 12 that were not.
I love when you're in my head. I was about to say the same thing. Shout out to you.
Meanwhile, like the Warriors,
when you see DeMar putting up numbers like that in clutch games and realizing that many of them were needed to be in their win total,
right?
Those numbers on that sample size is crazy,
especially
when you just think playing that many clutch games and the defense is toughening up in the final 5 minutes. Like, and he's still those shooting percentages, and they played 40 clutch games. It wasn't they played 40 clutch games.
I mean, you're the option. Like, I can talk about other options on those other two teams. I can even say Klay Thompson can be another option for you. And SGA, they're full of other options. You know what I'm saying, on OKC. It's DeMar, in the fourth quarter. That's it. That was him. You
drove Bulls fans crazy a lot of times.
A lot of the times.
Why can't anyone else get a shot?
Yeah, show those numbers again. We'll show you why.
Well, I'll say this: like Steph's clutch, his usage rating in the clutch was 40.5.
Steph's?
Yeah, DeMar's was only 35. So that, like, 35 is a massive number.
Yeah, 40 is
like
ridiculous.
absurd.
Okay.
So he was really
they leaned on
dominating the success of that team, but.
But my thing is,
their team was 24-24 in clutch games.
They still have somebody on their team that other teams have to be concerned about in that clutch time.
For sure.
Even if you're leaning on him heavily, you're still like, what the hell is Klay doing? Even though Klay didn't have the greatest of seasons, he built up enough cachet to be a threat. The Bulls, you're like, well, what? You going to give it to Ayo? You going to give it to Vooch? You know what I mean? We know Kobe's doing this thing, but we're not concerned about him. Double DeMar, get the ball out of his hands, and then we'll start from there. So for him to be that dude all the time, and I mean all the time. When you're coming out the huddle, we know the play that's being drawn up immediately. Yeah. Whatever it is getting the ball to him so he can do this, man. Like there's a skit on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air where the coach is drawing up plays, and at the end of every play, he points to his player. He said, "We do this, and we go out. We come around the screen, and what do? Pass it to Will." He's like, "Okay, here's plan B. We do this, what do? Pass it to Will." And when someone actually told him the right play to run, he said, "Go run 20 laps." You know what I mean? Like, how dare you try to tell me to do that? No, the play is you pass it to DeMar. That is what you do.
Or the classic Doug Collins, post-game interview. That play was get the ball to Mike. Everybody else get the F out the way.
Leave out the way. And that was the playoffs. Man. So, I agree with that. I think it should be DeMar. I don't think it's, like you said, I don't even think it's close. Like, if I'm just looking at the numbers and 27 of your 39, you know what I mean? You can lean on him and say he did that. I just wonder if the NBA will take it that other route because of SGA and just wanting to kind of prop him up a little.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. The other thing I'll say is, like, I think the thing probably going against DeMar is that he didn't have any last-second buzzer-beater game winners this year.
That season game against the Pacers where he hit that buzzer at the that
was to send it to overtime.
That was amazing.
To force OT.
Yeah. That was kind of like the one moment, but there were so many third-to-last possessions of the game where DeMar hit a go-ahead shot to keep it out of range or to tie the game and give the Bulls another chance. I think a lot of those are going to go probably unnoticed as far as they weren't these loud highlight SportsCenter top 10 plays,
right?
But they gave the Bulls a chance to win that game, and ultimately they did. And then obviously the one we mentioned against the Pacers, where we reacted to it in the moment too. Was that was kind of the one thing that he was missing, which was a buzzer beating shot. Obviously that one tied the game. They ended up winning in overtime. But that was the signature moment that I think he was missing to that point.
Our guy Hayes in the comments saying, much like no player improved more than Kobe did from last season, DeMar is God mode in clutch moments.
Yeah, man.
Carlos in the comments, Dave, not a big fan of your consolation award for Shai theory.
I'm not a fan of it either.
No, I know. You're the one who brought it up, saying if they give SGA the clutch award as a consolation prize for not winning MVP, that's dumb.
Yeah,
I kind of agree.
That's what they do.
Do his numbers for the specificity of what this award is. Are they better than DeMar's? Because the answer is no.
The answer is no.
Smaller body of work and not quite as good.
We've seen this happen all the time. Why did Ja Morant walk away with most improved player?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Come on,
also just one last thing in Shai's favor. So I mentioned DeMar was a plus 81 in 114 clutch minutes. Shai played nearly half as many clutch minutes as DeMar did, 62. But in those 62 minutes, he was a plus 48. That's pretty damn good.
It's pretty damn good.
And they were as the Bulls were 10 games over 500 in clutch games. They were I believe 24 and 14.
Yeah.
The Thunder.
So we shall see. When do they announce these winners? Later on? Tomorrow?
Tomorrow most improved.
Is most improved.
Clutches on Thursday.
Gotcha.
Clutches on Thursday.
We will find out soon. Maybe we can get at least one individual season award.
6 p.m. Central.
There you go.
6 p.m. Central.
Shout out to Dingo Hoops who just joined the chat. No worries for being a little late. You can go catch the first half after we wrap up.
Yeah.
You can that's the beauty of YouTube.
Yes.
Don't catch it live, doesn't matter.
It's all right.
Speaking of which, we got to take our second ad break, and you can throw us the thumb if you didn't do it the first time around. We appreciate it.
Troll Joe, please.
Give it to Troll Joe.
Please.
Did we get a final season tally on the number of thumbs Troll Joe got?
Let's find out.
In his treasure chest?
No. That would be really hard for me to go back and calculate.
I was just thinking you maybe could have made one up.
Well, I was offended because we never talked about that.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you're saying, do we have the final
just riffing,
count?
baby. You know what I mean? Toss it to him.
2,286 thumbs for Troll Joe.
All right.
You're going to need a bigger treasure
chest.
Yeah. Well done.
They're overflowing.
That's from a movie.
In his little cave, it's like he's got thumbs everywhere.
Everywhere. Where does he sleep then? Does he sleep on the thumbs? Or
no, he's got like a bed.
Got a little bed?
Like a red
or we could
bed.
Just take all your thumbs and throw them in a big mattress bag there. Hey, y'all should be making some picks on Prize Picks while you're watching these NBA playoff games. PrizePicks is the largest daily fantasy sports platform in North America. The easiest and most exciting way to play DFS. It's just you against the numbers. Instead of battling thousands of other players, including pros and sharks and Troll Joe, you just pick more than or less than on 2 to 6 different player stat projections. Watch the winnings roll in while you watch these playoff games. Get in on the playoff action. Win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks as you and the world's best hoopers take the game to a new level during basketball's postseason. We got a fresh slate of games on deck tonight. We got is Nuggets Lakers game 2 tonight?
It is.
That's the late game.
And the Knicks
loving
Sixers
that
first game.
Knicks Sixers. Knicks getting that game 1 W. Knicks fans going crazy already.
I'm shocked. And still saying F. Trae Young for some reason.
Of course.
He's not even involved.
Of course. Trae Young couldn't even beat the Bulls to get his way to the playoffs.
He had a tough season, man.
Well, that's embarrassing.
He had a tough year.
You can win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks with as little as 4 correct picks.
That's it.
On the game that you're getting ready to watch tonight. Turn $10 into $1,000 with basketball, and also if you are watching the Stanley Cup playoffs, throw some PrizePicks together for some hockey action as well. Here's what you do. Go to prizepicks.com/CHGO. Use promo code CHGO for a first-time deposit match up to $100. That's prizepicks.com/CHGO with promo code CHGO. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy with PrizePicks.
Now, Peck, what time is it?
Get out!
That man's always prepared. Professional. And I love it.
Playoff game time.
That's right. Playoff Peck.
Well, I love it.
You shouldn't have to worry when you're buying tickets to your next big event. Game Time is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all your sports, music, comedy, and theater events nearest you with killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their best price guarantee. Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying those tickets. Game Time has deals on tickets right after the start of the event, y'all. And even an hour after it starts. It is not the place. No. It is the place. Yeah, it is the place to find last-minute seats. Find exclusive flash deals and sponsored deals on tickets for football, hockey, basketball, baseball, concerts, comedy, theater, and so much more. And with zone deals, you pick the section, and Game Time will do the selecting. And you'll get an average savings of 18%. What? And the Game Time guarantee means you will always, and I mean always, get the best price possible. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download that Game Time app, create an account, use that code CHGO. Get yourself $20 off your first purchase.
Terms apply.
That's CHGO. Get yourself $20 off your first purchase.
Terms apply.
Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. What to go, Gottlieb? Can you ask Joey Spathis a question?
Joey, I got a question for you.
Yes, well.
What time is it?
Game Time hoop.
Thanks.
Very nice.
So I was listening to a rarity pleasantry of mine, like when I put a non-sports podcast into my rotation, just because I listen to 8 million basketball and sports podcasts. But one of my non-sports pods these days is We're Here to Help.
Okay.
Which is Chicago actor and big Chicago sports fan Jake Johnson.
Shout out.
From the show New Girl, and a comedian friend of his, Gareth Reynolds. And it's basically just like a call-in advice show, and people call in with any kinds of silly questions or, awkward situations that they don't know how to get out of in their work life, their love life. And I was listening to an episode of that while I was taking a shower earlier today, and it was some random sponsor of theirs, and I just heard the phrase "terms apply" at the end of this ad read. And I was literally in the shower. I just went, terms apply. And I was like, wait, why did no one sing the terms apply jingle at the end of this ad? And I was like, okay, this has become a problem.
I apologize.
Dave's jingling has infiltrated my brain like a goddamn baby alien from Alien.
I apologize. That it's awesome, and you want to sing it all the time. That is the point.
I heard the words terms apply, and my brain just short-circuited.
I love it. Hey, I want to answer this question from my man Shaheed Davis because he's asked me 2 times. So I want to get to it and ask him. He wanted to ask me how was WrestleMania weekend. What did I think about it? I loved it. I enjoyed it. It was one of their best. Cody, getting the belt was amazing. It was so much fun to watch. That match with Cody and Roman Reigns was outstanding entertainment. So I enjoyed it very, very much.
Roman Reigns won?
No, Homelander won.
Homelander won?
Homelander won.
That's
Homelander won.
dangerous.
Big Dave, I've been thinking that I want something that I can have, my story that I can finish.
Where we going, Joe?
So Joey needs a story that he can finish.
Well, we third person now? Okay.
And I don't know what the story is. Maybe it's when I get to 2,000 followers.
Okay.
But I'm going to finish a story.
You're going to finish
You talking
a
about
story?
in the world of wrestling?
No, just in the world of Joey.
In the world of producing.
Yes,
Okay.
in the world of Joey.
And the Joey world, he's going to finish the story.
So you're going to pick out what story to finish, and then you're going to say, this is the story I'm going to finish.
Yeah, I got to decide officially on the story that I want to finish.
Will it be the book report that Matt wants you
No,
to do?
probably not.
No.
That's
Not
never
dying to
happening.
finish that
All
one.
right, just
That
checking.
will happen eventually.
Okay, just
But
checking.
anyone has any
Chat
suggestions for my
GPT in
story?
effect.
We can answer this question real quick. Will, you can answer. Tashar Samir in the comments saying, "Hey everyone, are players and Billy not having end of season press conferences this season?"
They took care of Billy and player exit interviews after the Heat game in Miami. So I believe they were all streamed on the Bulls Twitter account or Bulls website.
Yeah,
so you
they
can go
are.
find them there. But yeah, Billy talked for like 20 minutes or so. They got Io, they got Vooch, they got DeMar, obviously.
Caruso, I think.
Caruso.
Yeah.
So you can go find those. But yeah.
Yeah, they're all up on both
basically
socials.
like after the season, the players are trying to like go on vacation. They're not trying to. They were in Miami.
Right.
I think a lot of them did not want to like come back to Chicago.
Most of the way to Cancun
Right,
already.
exactly.
So
They're already there.
and you know there was a handful of reporters that took care of that. So that's all we'll hear from them. And then obviously we heard from AK on Saturday, and we may be hearing from Kobe if he wins Most Improved. So TBD.
Oh yeah.
He says, every time I see an AG1 commercial and the lady says adaptogens, it's so underwhelming.
I mean, why would you just plainly say such a fun word with so
man.
much potential?
Yeah, they're not having fun with this, man. I'm having a ball.
All right, let's talk a little first round NBA playoffs and make our official picks. I'm going to stick with the picks I made before the game started on Saturday, even though I am a little bit surprised by some of the game one results.
Okay.
So I feel like fair's fair. So in the East,
Can we start? I think the way the graphics work, it makes sense to go. We go all three of you guys for each conference, and then we switch conferences.
yeah, great. So let's start with the East.
All right.
East,
This is the East, my
Celtics
brother.
Heat, the 1-8. Celtics won comfortably.
Man, I look at
I
that.
am giving Spo one victory. I won't be surprised if it's a Celtics sweep, but I'm giving Spo one victory. Just from like a night where the Celtics don't shoot well.
Again, Matt, this is why we share a brain.
Hey.
That is exactly what I said in myself. I had Celtics in 4, and then I said, nah, Spo going to get one.
Yeah.
And so I was like, Spo going to get a victory at least one time.
Goat, looks like you see a sweep.
I see a sweep. This Heat team is depleted. All due respect, but the Celtics, I feel like they're trying to exercise their demons right now, so they're going for it.
That's true. Yeah.
Okay, looks like we're all taking Knicks in the 2-7 matchup with Philly. You and I, Dave, have it going 7 games, going the distance. Will, you think they're going to take care of them in one fewer? I think, despite the fact that the Knicks are a quote-unquote 2 seed in this, and Sixers are technically a 7 seed, most people would say, hey, if healthy, Sixers probably a better team.
Yeah.
It's just that they had such a long absence for Embiid.
Yeah.
Now he's back, but we wouldn't really sure what he would look like health-wise in this first round. Kudos to that Knicks team. That was a big win to start off the series with a W.
Yeah, huge win, and the way they did it, too. Like, it was a close game throughout. Fun game to watch throughout. I hate hearing that Oregon. I hate that Oregon stuff.
Yeah.
But still a fun game to watch throughout. Josh Hart played basically the entire game, came up with every single key rebound and key shot that they kind of needed. And Jalen Brunson didn't play great, which is very scary because he didn't play great. You still win the game. That means you're going to have to worry about everybody else around you, which is going to free him up a little bit. You know what I mean? He's not going to be getting those double teams like that. So him one-on-one, we've seen what he can do one-on-one against anybody. He's probably one of the best in the conference, if not in the league.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just not convinced Embiid's going to make it through the series healthy. It sucks to have injuries be a part of this, but he went down pretty bad.
He left
Heat,
game one for a while.
Yeah.
and then again in game one, Maxey's sick tonight. He's questionable, I believe. So it's not like really a slight at the 76ers so much as I don't know that they're like going to be fully equipped for this series.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And this Knicks team made it to round
They're really
2 last
good.
season.
They're good.
It's a little bit different. Obviously, losing Randall, maybe you think hurts their chances, but then you're like, but Does it even? Because Jalen Brunson is just that good.
He's amazing.
Josh Hart, some of those threes he was knocking in the fourth quarter.
Cold-blooded,
like,
man.
Dude, this Knicks team is real.
Yeah.
As a Bulls fan, I hate to admit that, but this Knicks team is real.
Yeah.
They're so Tibbs, man.
Yeah, just watch
so Tibbs.
Mitchell Robinson's size is going to be an issue. You saw him being a problem as well. You know, how Hartenstein, you know how hard he plays when he's out there. So, yeah, the effort is going to be there for the Knicks. And now they have a guy like Brunson with the talent to actually back that up, too.
Indeed. All right, moving on. We got Bucks-Pacers. I was surprised at Game 1's result.
Yeah.
Maybe I should have given the Bucks a bit more credit than I was coming into this series, but knowing they were going to be without Giannis to start this series and all of the other problems the Bucks have had on top of that, and the fact that this Pacers team, yeah, they're young, but they're hungry. They hate the Bucks. You got to assume that they were getting geared up for this game,
Sure.
and they can just pour in points. But Bucks take Game 1. I still think I'm leaning Pacers.
Okay.
So, you know, maybe it'll take. I took Pacers in 6. Mm-hmm. Dave, you got Bucks in 5.
Yeah.
Will, you're with me, Pacers in 6. Talk to me, Dave. What led you to Bucks in 5?
Well, it was simple for me. Indiana doesn't play defense.
They do not.
And they have Dame Lillard, like in the
What,
playoffs.
he dropped 35 in Game 1?
Yeah, 35. He didn't score again in the rest of the game, but he didn't have to. But that's what I mean. 35 first half, he didn't have to score again in the second half. He didn't have to score. But the dude in the playoffs is a different monster. It's literally why they brought him in here was because of how they went out last year in the first round when Giannis wasn't there. Yes, when he wasn't there, they had no one else to be that number 2 because Middleton was still dealing, with kind of issues, and Middleton's not a guy you're just going to depend on to carry you.
Right.
You know what I mean? In a series, he's a role player and a really excellent one and an all-star and for Team USA guy. Like he's all that good, but he's not that guy to carry you for an entire playoffs. It's like Luol Deng. You know what I mean? Like he's good, he's all that. He won't carry for the entire playoffs. Lillard will carry you wherever you need to go because you can't stop somebody pulling up from 40. All right? You can't. He's pulling up from 40 and hitting it, and he's a threat every single time. You don't play defense on him, you will lose. Like, it's really that simple to me. I love how Indiana played. They get their offense, but they rely on the shot a lot. And, Will, I think we talked about this before, just the absence of Buddy Hield and how it's kind of affected them and how they play how they run on offense, because when you run like that, you want guys who can also shoot when you're running like that as well. And Siakam is great. But Siakam, I think, is more of a half-court guy. And Buddy Hield, is a transition dude all day long. He'll kill you that way. And the way their offense is set up is they want to run. They want to get it, and they want to go. You know what I mean? They're thinking like the Phoenix Suns. Mm-hmm. The other part of this is Halliburton hasn't been great since the play-in tournament.
Adrian in the comments pointing out massive regression.
31% from 3 since the play-in tournament. He has not been great. And he hasn't shown that he's come out of that funk at all. So, and he's got to go up against Dame. Bucks in 5. Give me Bucks in 5, bro.
Yeah, I don't love the Pacers right now. I picked them before the series, and I'm just kind of sticking with it. But they shot really poorly from 3 in that game. Only 21%.
Yee.
I think that'll come back up a little bit.
Bulls.
But yeah, I mean, they're not the same offensive juggernaut that they were before they traded for Siakam. They have been much worse. Not much worse, but like significantly worse. Yeah. The other thing is that was Halliburton's first playoff game. So I think there's going to be a period of time where he's kind of adjusting and getting himself sorted. But I don't know. This Bucks team, man, they just seem like run down. Like Middleton is not himself. I know he had a good game.
He's not.
Lillard is
that's Dame, though, bro.
Is Dame. We'll see how much he can carry them. But like without Giannis, I just don't know if they can get through this series. So
I do like how Portis played too.
I don't love it, but
I'm with you, Dave.
I'm still hanging with the Pacers.
I think we talked about the Celtics exercising their demons. I don't think the Bucks are allowing themselves to lose in this first round. It would be such an, even without Giannis, it would be such an abject
you have to fire
failure.
Everyone.
It would be such a failure. And yeah, they have some pedigree. They've got guys that have been there.
Yeah, and I like how Lopez is playing as well. He played great in that game 1. He wouldn't even allow them to score like that. Guys were trying to go to the hole. He was SWAT City over there, man. So, yeah, it's tough. Like, maybe Indiana, that offense catches up in a few games, and it gets on a roll and gets it going. Good offense can do that for sure. But I just think the Bucks, man, just have that guy.
Before we move to the West real quick, last East Series, Cavs Magic. Cavs take game 1. oh dear God, the Magic offense, 80-something points.
Yeah,
I took the Magic to win that series.
Yeah.
I really
cool. Yeah.
like that young Magic team.
Mm-hmm.
I still am not a big believer in the Donovan Mitchell-led Cavs. They laid an egg in the postseason last year.
Big one.
And I think the front and back, offense, defense, I like the Magic's playoff rotation better than Cleveland's. But I think I'm still leaning Orlando, but I do not feel as good about my pick after watching that game one.
I thought it was interesting that Wendell didn't get to start in game one, and he went with Jonathan Isaac. I'm a proponent. I'm a guy who likes structure and things to kind of be the same. And I thought
continuity,
moving him out. Yes, some might say that. But when you remove Wendell and you put in Jonathan Isaac, who had been coming off the bench and been a great, addition for them coming off the bench, doing it that way, and putting him in the starting lineup of a playoff game on the road, I didn't agree with that move. It took away from me some shooting, some options that they probably would have had. We'll see what they do game two. But they're young. You know what I mean? They're a very, very young team. They're still figuring stuff out. Also, I think a key is Max Strus, because Max Strus knows he wants to win. He still has that Heat culture mentality in his brain even though he's in Cleveland, dog. So I think they got a good mix out there in Cleveland. Donovan Mitchell hates everybody when he's playing basketball, man. And I think they can do it. The wild card will be Garland. I don't know if Garland's going to show up or not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If he does, they won't lose, but sometimes he just doesn't, man. But the Magic, honestly, Matt, it was a tough one for me when I was putting it together, because I could easily see the Magic winning this series, too.
Yeah. We'll see. Okay, going west, we have Thunder, as we mentioned, SGA's big, late fourth quarter buckets, taking a 1-0 lead on the Pelicans. Looks like we all have Thunder in. Dave, you got them sweeping.
Yeah.
Interesting. Nuggets, Lakers. Nuggets win game one. You've got them both sweeping. I gave them a game. I said that on shout out to our friends Lakina and Sid on their playoff preview episode of the Second City Sports last week. So I'll stick with that. Lakers were leading for 2.5 quarters of that game, and then the Nuggets were like, all right, enough of this. I still think the Lakers might be able to make a game, but man, I think Mike Malone outcoached the hell out of Darvin Ham down the stretch of that game one.
Yeah.
Dave, you and I taking Wolves in me 7, you 5. You're taking Phoenix, Will. Me and Will taking Mavs in 7. Dave, you're taking Clips in 6. Of all of the West game ones, which one piques your curiosity the most and making you think differently about what you thought coming into it after watching game one?
I would say the Mavs. Like, the fact that they lost to that Clippers team without Kawhi was a little concerning to me. I just feel like they are so difficult to figure out because Luka's just a cheat code. But the fact that they lost that game with really a golden opportunity, I still don't feel like the Clippers are going to win this series, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just like holding on to my Luka bias a little too long. And then the Suns-Wolves series I think is really interesting too. To me, like the Wolves, I just don't know if I trust their offense to win 3 more out of these next 6 games. Or
what about the fact that the Suns, specifically in fourth quarters, have struggled mightily on offense?
Yeah, but I guess I'm betting on Booker, Durant, and Beal to be able to generate better offense than Anthony Edwards in a cramped floor.
I hear that.
But like oh my God, in that first game,
that's what I was about to say, Will.
Dude.
And KD was great.
I looked in his eyes, and that's a killer. And I was like, uh-oh. When I looked, I said, oh no. Like that was a I'm not losing face that I saw on him. Like, I hate all of you. And when I heard him before the game talking about Devin Booker and giving him props, like, yeah, I've been wanting to go up against this kind of guy, I was like, that sounds like a setup. Like, he just really wanted to come attack him, man. He attacked him.
Shout out to our guy Fish in the comments who said, I think Ant is just getting started.
Yeah, man. I
that
really
game
do
one
too.
Performance.
Like, he's scary, dog. Like, he's really scary.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think they'll handle their business. I wouldn't be surprised if Phoenix actually came back and got it together. That's not going to shock me, you know what I mean, because of Kevin Durant and because Captain Dipshit had a really good year for them. He really has. But in the end, man, like Minnesota has just been too good like all year long, like honestly. And even defensively, they've just been really good all year long, obviously because they have Rudy Gobert. But that dude, Ant, man, he just looks insane.
If the Suns can figure out how to keep the Wolves off the glass, I think they will win. But that was an area where the Wolves just dominated them.
Yeah.
And if Ant can keep doing what he's doing, then they're going to be. So I picked 7 games for a reason. I think it's going to be a great series.
Yeah, it should be. I'm looking forward to it, and I hope that series goes deep. I hope Clip Mavs goes deep.
Yeah.
I was a little bit surprised by that Mavs effort out of the gate in game 1.
That was surprising.
I think they can still very easily bounce back from it.
Yeah.
They can still get a split in L.A. and head home to Dallas 1-1.
I think I was more surprised at the Clippers' effort.
Yeah.
Because, no Kawhi, being out there. And you saw Harden. Like,
right.
You saw Beard Harden
and
out there.
Look, everyone was showering Harden with praises for his performance in game 1. Cool. We all still know that the other version of playoff Harden is lurking.
It's lurking.
Waiting for the most inopportune time.
Remember last year?
To be the other version of playoff Harden.
Didn't he do that against the Celtics in game 1 of the was it the conference finals?
Dude, he's
last
done that
year,
against every basketball team ever.
But
he's
game 1,
done that against
not
the
the
Washington
conference
Generals in the playoffs.
Game 1, he owned the Celtics, and then he followed that up with like in the next 6 games, like 3 of his worst playoff games ever.
Yeah. So I think that Clips Mavs series is far from over, despite the Clips taking game 1. We shall see.
I'm rooting for the Mavs.
3 more NBA games, playoff mode on deck tonight.
Yeah.
Get your picks in on Prize Picks. Grab yourself some fresh Coors Lights on Instacart. CoorsLight.com/CHGO Basketball. Have yourself some fun.
Yes.
We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place, in studio, 4 p.m. Central Time. Guesties? Remember the Bulls Beat. Going to come hang out with us in studio tomorrow.
Yeah. Excited.
Tune in to find out who.
Let's do it.
In the meantime, follow Will the GOAT, Will_Gottlieb. Read his thoughts on AK's press conference from Saturday if you haven't read that yet. AllCHGO.com. Big day, bow, BAWL Sports. Our pal and producer on the controls is Joey Spathis, at Joey Spathis, twin brother of Troll Joe. 2,000 plus thumbs.
On his way.
I'm Bulls_Peck.
Finish the story.
We are CHGO_Bulls. Finish the story of your Monday. Have a great Monday night. We will talk to you tomorrow afternoon, Bulls Nation. We love you. See you, Robbie. Good.